Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be talking about DAYZ Nitrado console private server mods. A little bit of what we've got and what we want for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. I guess you could consider this video an open letter to Bohemia Interactive, who are the developers behind DAYZ, and Nitrado, the company who run the console's private server service for DAYZ. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, I am a Nitrado partner, which means that when you click on the link in the description down below, if you fancy going and getting your own private server for DAYZ, I get a little bit of commission from that. But you know, they don't tell us to make videos in certain ways or anything like that, so don't worry about that. Now, and you may well say, well, wait a minute, Rob, surely Bohemia Interactive, the people who actually make DAYZ, would be responsible for doing these mods, making the game moddable. That is true, but after spending a bit of time looking at how you mod the game on PC, I think what we'd really want on DAYZ is we want a much simpler system to apply mods to custom servers, and I think that's where you really need the private service provider, i.e. Nitrado, to work with Bohemia Interactive, so that we end up with an interface to our servers that's simple, so we can easily do stuff. So I guess, what have we got so far? Well, don't get me wrong, the private server experience has been really great on Nitrado, and we've had fantastic times in our private server. And if you want to join our private server, you've got to be over 18, you've got to become a YouTube member of my channel or become one of my Patreons. Basically join the Discord and then look at the instructions that are down there. But basically what we can do at the moment is you can change the length of the night and day. So you can have really long days and short nights, which is good. That's a very powerful change. You can go first person only, and you can remove the crosshairs. So it's almost like a hardcore mode. And that's it really. You can't do anything else. So I think we need more stuff. So I've made a list, and if you'd care to stay with me, I'll go through those. So first thing, I think there should be a simpler night and day modifier or interface. Don't bother with these multipliers for time. Just let us put in, I want my day to be 12 hours long and I want my night to be 5 minutes long. Something like that. Really obvious one now, health and stamina. I want a mod where we can say, everybody has unlimited stamina, or more stamina, or maybe no stamina, and maybe we have more health as well. So you can make characters tougher or weaker. Loot spawn rates. This is the big one, isn't it? The ability to turn up the slider or turn the knob up so that you get more stuff around the map. But I'd want independent stuff, so knobs or sliders for assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, ammunition, med items, clothes. Quite a good bit of control over the loot table, if you like. Because I know one of the things that often we want to come to the private server experience for is to have a go with all the weapons. So even something like being able to turn the knob on helicopter crashes as well. And actually at every place where there could be a helicopter crash site on the map, there will be a helicopter crash site. So you could go and find some of the rarer assault rifles and rarer sniper rifles and have a go with them. Cars as well. I think there should be a mod where where cars spawn in, you can change the amount of cars that spawn in, but maybe where they spawn in fixed as well, so they've got all the bits in them, and you just need to add fuel, oil, and water. And part of that as well is to make them so that they don't break, or at least so that the things like the radiators don't break. Because DAYZ is very, very glitchy when you're driving cars, and when you have crashes, it's not your fault half the time. Well, 99% of the time it's not your fault. It's the fact the game glitched, then you hit a tree, the radiator broke. So I'd like to be able to turn off damage to stuff like that. They would still run out of fuel, oil and water, that sort of stuff. But you want to be able to have cars that are a lot more resilient. Now, one that I think that would be really cool, well, two together. The first one is being able to control what you spawn in with, as a fresh spawn, and also where you spawn. So the idea of this is that you could create custom modes. Well, I mean, the first thing, being able to say what you spawn in with would be really good, because then you could make it harder for people by taking everything away, or you can make it easier. So every time you spawn in, you're going to have a knife, you're going to have a backpack, you're going to have bandages, you're going to have 2 cans of food and two cans of drink, that sort of thing. But also, you could get people could spawn in with assault rifle, submachine gun, shotgun ammo, military gear, and that sort of thing. And then, if you could control where people could spawn, you could then have player versus player presets. And the way I would envision this is it is like a preset. So you'd have normal spawning, where people spawn, around the coasts, and then you could have like an airfield spawn, where everybody spawns around the edges of the northeast airfield. Or you could have a prison island spawn, where people spawn around the edge of the little prison island on the south coast. Or a Cherno spawn, for example. So everybody spawns around the outskirts of Cherno. And then if you combine that with the mod about what you spawn in with, you could say, right, okay, so everybody's spawning in with... and you could do it almost like a class system, couldn't you? So military class 1, say assault, so you spawn in with a tactical helmet, a backpack, camo gear, an M1 and a pistol and a limited amount of ammunition. Or you could have what else could you have? You could have so you could have tactical, you could have maybe close assault, where a guy spawns in with a shotgun. You could have a sniper class where you spawn in with a sniper. All that sort of different stuff, and so that people would spawn in, and then you could have a PvP game. And the idea then is when they would die, they would spawn in again at the edge, and it would in effect create like a team deathmatch or a free-for-all environment within DayZ, and I think that would be really, really cool. Another mod that I would like to see would be that you could turn on. And these aren't things that I would want to have on in the game all the time. It would probably be like a special event. Would be spawn near death, so that when you do die, when you are shot or where you're killed by zombies, you actually spawn in again, but not that far away from where you died. So if you know where you are, you could then get back to where you are and get your kit, which would be cool. I'd like to have a dial about the zombies as well, as in how many zombies are spawning into the map, default, less, more, but also how aggressive they are, so turn the aggressiveness up or turn the aggressiveness down. Again, that could be really cool for special events. If you could say, right, I want loads of zombies in Electro, and I want them to be super aggressive, and you could combine that with everybody spawning around Electro with assault class kit, and we've got to go in and we've got to try and kill all these zombies. Weather modifiers as well, being able to make the map always sunny or rainy or snowy, that sort of stuff. I think the ability to turn down or turn off clothing and equipment damage would be good, especially in different situations. So you could turn off the fact that, say, zombies couldn't damage your stuff when they're attacking you, because it's really annoying, isn't it, when you're getting attacked by zombies and they're ripping all your clothes. You've got to keep fixing them, and then they become ruined. The ability to turn that down or turn it off would be cool. And wear and tear on stuff as well. So bladed weapons wouldn't ever get blunt. Clothes wouldn't wear out. That sort of stuff. Shoes wouldn't wear out as well. The ability to turn off or change diseases and infections as well. Now, maybe this is because the game's a little bit buggy, I think, as far as diseases and infections happen at the moment. You seem to get ill really easily, but then nothing really happens. Now, I understand that's probably because you're slowly getting iller and sicker, and eventually something will happen, but the ability just to get rid of that might be cool. Going back to zombies, actually, turning off the fact that zombies kill you. Maybe the fact that they just knock you out, so you fall on the floor, they wander off, and then you could come back to life again. Might be an idea. On the kind of admin side on the server, it would be great to have a map where you can see where people are and where loot is as well. Now, I know this could be abused, couldn't it? I could go hunting people down and killing them, but it would be helpful when I'm running events. The ability to be able to see, where people are, to make sure people aren't cheating and things, and an observation mode as well, so you could fly into the map, not as a character but as a camera and just move around and watch what people are doing. And a replay function as well. We don't have anything like that at the moment, so you could say over the last hour what actually happened. At the moment, the log tables just really detail damage that players get, whether they, well, it details when you come into the server and any damage you give or any damage you take. It doesn't say about what stuff you've picked up or what stuff you've got on you, but details stats like that, so we can say, right, okay, so Fred Blogs is on the server at the moment, he's here, he's got this stuff, this is his health, all that sort of stuff. Because I'm sure that the game knows all this, but actually having access to that would be really good. Already mentioned control of the loot table, and in time I think more maps as well. There are more DayZ maps out there from the PC mod community, and the ability to install them and have a go at those would be really cool as well. Now, also got some ideas from our Discord. Moxie Dunn said, yeah, control over clothing, especially would like to be able to get rid of the degrading of shoes, the wearing out of shoes, because it's too fast. No, I would agree with that. Shoes, it does seem a little bit too fast at the moment, and tools as well. So things like your saws and your axes getting blunt. Brutus in the Discord says stuff to set up a proper base. So he'd like to see, these are more items in the game. So things like gun racks to store your guns. That's a cool idea, isn't it? Sandbags to build up defensive positions. Brutus is a trucker, so he'd really like to have the trucks. Now, I think we're getting buses, aren't we? I think, because is there the bus batteries that are around, or the truck batteries that are around? But that way you could move lots of items. You know, if you built a big base with lots of stuff in, you'd be able to move that stuff from place to place. Hey, how about even trailers for the cars? Brutus would like to see different weapons, so you know, more difference in the weapons, which is cool. Yeah, I'd like to see. I don't think there's a revolver, is there? Like a cowboy revolver. That would be cool, I think. Control of the loot frequency, and Brutus would also like to see helicopters. Yeah, I think we'd all like to see a helicopter, wouldn't we, in the game somewhere. You know, maybe obviously you'd have to fix it, I'd imagine. But I know there's PC mods where they put helicopters and different vehicles in the game. So there we go. There's some ideas. Now I know you may well say, well, lots of these things could, you know, they're taking away some of the core survival gameplay from DayZ, aren't they? And that's true. But for me, lots of these things would all be about setting up particular experiences. Say on our server, it would be, okay, so this weekend we're going to have really aggressive zombies, or we're going to have, when you spawn in, you're going to spawn in with nothing for this weekend. Or the PvP event is the big one for me. The ability to go, right, okay guys, everybody go and store all your stuff. And that actually there is another thing as well. To make it much simpler on the servers about how you back up your server and what that actually means. So the server does save backup files as it's going on, but I'd really like to be in the web interface. It'd be really clear, right? It should be like, you know, click here to save the state of your server at this moment. You can then use this file to roll back the server to this time. And I think it does that, but it's not really clear. When you've got a server with lots of people doing stuff on, you don't really want to mess around with it. You don't want to accidentally delete all their stuff. But the idea, you would do something like that. You would freeze the state of the server, say, right, everybody's going to spawn in now, we're all going to be spawning in around the military base, and everybody's going to get sniper rifles, let's have some fun, click. And then we have a PvP game mode. And I think what would happen then as well is you would get people buying more private servers. Now I know people buy lots of them at the moment. I think there's about 9,000 have been rented out so far. But you would get people who would have a general vanilla DayZ experience like our private server, and then you would also have people who would then have their PvP server, you know, an airfield battle server, you know, or an alternative map server. And I think sometimes what the companies forget, Bohemia Interactive, Nitrado as well probably, is they really concentrate on the PC community, and they don't realise that there is this massive pool of people on consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, who really want this stuff and who are really willing to pay the money for it, but they often don't have the time to invest in doing all this PC modding because it's too complicated. If you can make it simple, people will buy it. They've shown that with the amazing popularity of the Nitrado private servers. And I think, you know, if they brought mods, you know, I think it would explode even further because it's so much easier just to have a PlayStation or an Xbox sitting on your side, connected to your TV, and your laptop. You can access your server controls. You can access them on your phone, or if you've got an Xbox, you can access them on the app. Just to be able to go in and say, right, okay, I'm going to set up a PvP server now. No messing around installing things to a server like you have to do on the PC, installing files, downloading them, worrying about bugs and all that sort of stuff. Now I understand that would mean that you'd end up with the quantity of mods would be a lot less because there would have to be a lot more checking of the mods to make sure, you know, that they were more compatible with the game than lots of the PC ones are. But hey, honestly, if Nitrado and Bohemia Interactive, if you got together and produced a modding package that was simple to use and added some of these things in, it would absolutely explode, and the DAYZ console community would love it. So anyway, that's enough for me. Put your comments down below. What mods would you like to see added to DAYZ console version, you know, PlayStation and Xbox? Remember, as I said before, there's a link down below if you fancy grabbing a Nitrado private server for your PS4 or your Xbox. You can click on there and click through. I think you can go and get PC ones as well. If you want to join our Discord and our private server, again, you've got to be over 18, and then you've got to become a member of paying member of the YouTube channel or join my Patreon. But you know, if you fancy a more chilled out experience on DAYZ, then by all means do that. But apart from that, if you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.